What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Cup of Cinema, where we review movies and talk coffee. So I'm here with my co-host and partner, Acacia. How has your morning been?
Morning's been good. How's your morning?
My morning's been pretty good. We got this new couch, which is super exciting. So,
Yeah. $50 fine on Marketplace.
yeah, not bad. So this is our first video with our new couch.
Yeah.
So,
Cozy,
yeah.
relax, chill,
yeah, it's
loungy.
pretty chill. All right, so this is how today's gonna go down. So we're gonna be. Oh, let me get to the thing here. All right, so today we're gonna be reviewing the movie called Immaculate, which we got to see in theaters, which was a pretty cool experience. So we're gonna just dive into the coffee that we're brewing, some movie news. Then we're gonna get into the plots, our opinions, actors, reviews, and then all that. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about today with Immaculate.
Yeah, obviously, spoilers for the movie.
Yes, lots of spoilers for the movie because we already watched it and we're going to be just talking about it, reviewing it, and all that. So, what kind of coffee are we having today?
Today I have the coffee itself is called God Shot. It's from St. Henry. They're based out of Quebec City, and they have a spot or two in Montreal. And we went there a month ago for a coffee competition, and I picked some up.
Great spot.
This one's actually for espresso because that's the one I bought. They have one for filter, but I bought espresso because I wanted to take it to work. But we don't have any other coffee, so I was just gonna brew it as filter anyway, which is fine.
Nice. I remember there, was it a pastry or a donut we had there?
It was pastry.
I think
donuts are pastries, but
Or yeah, but it was like a croissant or a donut. I
yeah,
can't remember, but it was
the
amazing.
food was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one's a red bourbon, washed.
I wish I could remember what I had there.
Yeah.
It was a tiramisu something, I think it was, remember? It was snowing, it was one of our stops coming back from Montreal.
Oh, it was a
Wipers were
donut. I'm
broken.
sorry.
Yeah,
It was
tiramisu donut, I think.
Quebec City.
Quebec City, yeah, it's really
Yeah,
good.
It was good. The notes are green apple, jasmine, honey, which sounds awesome. And it's a Burundi. Okay.
All right, so I'm excited for that. We're going to start brewing while we get into some movie news. So we just got three topics that we're going to be talking about today really quick before we get into our review. And the first one is that we've been watching the Fallout series. We're just about halfway done. Don't think we're going to do a whole review on that because we just want to stick to movies. But really quickly, it's worth a watch. I'm a huge Fallout fan. From the games, and they did incredible. I think Halo needs to take notes because that's how you bring a video game to live action. So, what do you think of the Fallout series so far?
Yeah, I thought it was well done. I haven't played any of the games to completion, but I've played Fallout 3 before and like a tiny bit of 4, I think. Or maybe it was New Vegas. I can't remember. Yeah, they're good games. They're just not really my style, but I can definitely appreciate how the show does reflect the game very accurately.
Yeah, they did a great job. So yeah, definitely worth a watch if you're a Fallout fan, and if you're not a Fallout fan, still worth a watch. It's a great show, and I'm excited to see the ending and start a season 2. So another big piece of news, which I'm pretty excited for. I'm like on the borderline. I don't think you're going to be too excited about this, but Sam Raimi might be directing Spider-Man 4. It's rumors right now, but it would be pretty cool to see him come back and shoot a Spider-Man 4 since he left off with Spider-Man 3. But I'm not huge on the MCU Spider-Mans with Tom Holland. But again, he's a great director, great writer, and I'm excited to see what he can do with the franchise if he does get the spot. And it would make sense because Tom Holland is now actually Spider-Man. He's like grown into that, which was all leading up to, which I think it was just a waste of time and money. But yeah, would you?
Sorry, what was a waste of money? Tom Holland? Or
Tom Holland's 3 movies, yeah, they're just a waste of money.
Highly controversial.
They could have just started. They should have. If this movie does well, then they should have just started with this movie because the last 3 movies were, like, they skipped his origin story. Homecoming was decent. Far From Home was terrible. And No Way Home, like, the last 30 minutes was good, but the movie itself was like a child's movie. And I understand Spider-Man's more on the childish side now, but it didn't used to be like that back in the day. Let's just say that.
Let's just say I'm indifferent. I don't really
Sam
care.
Raimi made Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. The first.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
know,
He made the
you
first
told me.
one, so that's why it's kind of exciting to see him come back because he might add that action pack more adult Spider-Man into it. I highly doubt it because it's
I've
Disney, but
I think I've only watched one of the Tom Holland ones before,
probably maybe we
and
haven't
I
watched
remember
much.
really not liking it.
Oh yeah,
But
we
I
watched No Way Home in
Yeah,
theaters.
and I do remember, but also I was younger, granted. But I do know that I like the original three better, or I think I've only seen two of them to be honest.
I
But I
think we
like them
watched the
better.
original one, the first original one at the trailer.
Yeah,
That
well,
trailer we were at.
yeah,
That was a
but I've
good.
already watched it before.
Yeah.
And I was younger, so I liked it more. So I usually assume if I'm younger, I just like things more
Yeah, yeah,
because it's more nostalgic. But I like the original ones better. But
yeah.
yeah, the newer ones did seem more childish and just like how typical new movies are, where they're just kind of pandering to certain things and their jokes are bad and whatever. But
Yeah,
again, I don't know.
exactly. Okay, I'm glad to see somebody who's not a huge Spider-Man fan still sees the
But also, I have you
same
whispering in my
cons of the
ear
movie.
all the time how horrible Tom Holland is. So maybe it's your
I
bias
tried watching him in
rubbing
other
off on
movies
me.
too, and it's just his acting is not for me, I guess, because I tried watching him in this horror movie, and I was just like, whatever. But yeah, so Rami might be coming back for Spider-Man 4. That's exciting news. The last piece of news is that 28 years later is going to be coming out as a
Oh,
movie.
like 28
Yeah,
days later?
so there's 28 days later, 28 weeks later,
It's
and
a
now we
zombie thing,
have
right?
it's a zombie thing. Yeah, now we have 28 years later. Oh, I had it on my
Yeah, it
Snapchat here.
disappears usually when you take it away.
Yeah. Oh, here it
Ooh.
is. So, I'm probably gonna butcher some of these names, but Danny Boyle and Alex Garland, the director and writer behind 2002's hit horror film 28 Days Later, are reteaming for the long-awaited sequel 28 Years Later. THR reports that the sequel has casted Jodie Comer from Alone in the Dark, Killing Eve, and Aaron Taylor Johnson from Craven the Hunter, and Ralph Fiennes from The Menu. I'm surprised they're acting Craven the Hunter. That movie
Oh,
doesn't even
I
come
wonder
out
if
yet.
that's the chef from the menu.
I think it is. I think
I
it
feel like
is. It's the
he's been
chef
in
from The
other stuff.
Menu, and the guy
I liked his
is
acting.
from Kick-Ass. He used to be like a scrawny little kid. Now he's like
Oh,
built.
okay.
Kid's like grew into a whole unit. But yeah, the plan is for Garland to write 28 Years Later and Boyle to direct it. Garland is also planning on writing at least one more sequel to the franchise, so it's going to be a trilogy, which is pretty cool. And yeah. See, there's 28 Days Later, which received a follow-up in 2007 with 28 Weeks Later, which was executively produced by Boyle and Garland. So I guess this would end the trilogy. I think that would make sense, unless they do. Yeah, yeah. I guess that makes sense. I'm surprised they didn't do 28 months later and then 28 years later. Because days, weeks,
Well,
months,
they should,
years.
yeah. I don't know.
But
I feel like
yeah,
his months is kind of
it's kind of
similar
doesn't
to
make sense either.
weeks.
Yeah.
Years makes more sense.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another exciting piece of news in the movie world that we've got pretty recently. So let's try this coffee out.
Yeah, I've been trying it. It's really good. So it's roasted for espresso. They just like alter the way they roast it a little bit. But it's still really good. So I'd be interested to see how the filter is because I imagine the notes are more pronounced and they taste better
Yeah.
as a filter. But
I like it. I'm
I'm
enjoying
content
it.
with this. Yeah,
It's really
quite
good. And you did a good job brewing it too.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not gonna put it down. I'm gonna keep drinking it.
All right. So let's get into Immaculate.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna try to remember what happens instead of reading it. I kind of wrote it out so that I would
I'll just
remember
put this
it.
beside you.
Just quickly go over what happened. Main character, sister Cecilia, goes from the States to Italy to work as part of a convent and become a nun. So she goes and immediately she's greeted by, I believe it's Sister Isabel, who you can kind of tell has it out for her, gives her the stink eye and all that, warns her, you can leave anytime you want. And then she meets her roommate, Sister Gwen, or I'm not sure if she's roommate or room adjacent, but she seems like she's a bit rebellious. She sees her and she's like smoking a cigarette out of the bathroom window. So you kind of get an idea of what the relationship's going to be with these people or what their personalities are going to be like. As time goes on, she recites, I believe it's their vows to then become officially a part of the convent and become a nun there. And then she, I'm having trouble wording it all. And then she stumbles across an event where she almost has like this dream-like vision or something where there's like hooded people around her. She gets stabbed. She sort of wakes up. And then very shortly after, the medical practitioners there discover she's pregnant, which obviously in a convent is very strange. So they're like grilling her on whether she is pure and all that. She says she is, so everybody's considering her a miracle, like she got impregnated probably by God.
Yeah.
And so the initial sister Isabel, who didn't like her, is very jealous of her, tries to kill her. Basically, Cecilia's confused by that, doesn't quite understand, thinks that, something else is going on there. Sister Gwen, sort of the rebellious one, is like, what's going on? Like, this doesn't make any sense. They don't care. Something weird is happening here. So she tries to out them, and then they take her away. Later on, Cecilia finds out that she's being, like, tortured and detained, maybe killed, we don't know. So then she really starts to freak out, because, she's been impregnated somehow, mysteriously, while being a virgin, and, everybody's so nonchalant about it, but also like very, holding her in high regard, thinking she's like the new, Sister Mary kind of thing. So yeah, then it proceeds to her just being more scared, more fearful there, especially after seeing Sister Gwen being tortured, obviously.
Yeah.
And she tries to make an escape by putting fake blood everywhere while she's pregnant. So she's like, we need to go to the hospital.
Which was pretty smart.
It was very smart.
Move.
She used the chicken to do it. Anyway, so they find out that she lied. They take her back. They're pissed, obviously. They're like, you lied to us. So then they take away even more of her freedom while she's there. So she's scared. She doesn't have any freedom. She's like, what's going to happen to me? So eventually, when she's like about to burst, she ends up finding it out, or like an opportunity, and she kills one of the sisters really brutally. And then she escapes to the catacombs where, I forget the guy's name. It's like Tess.
So it's
Not the actor's name, the character name. Just don't touch it. Father Salte. Oh, it's like not showing it.
Yeah,
anyway,
no, it's right here. Tadashi.
Sorry. Tadashi follows her. She kind of mutilates him a bit in the process, fighting back. So she's going through the catacombs. Her water broke, by the way. I don't know if I said that. And then he catches up to her. She kills him, and then she escapes. And then the baby comes out as she's escaping, and she kills the baby. You never see the baby, but she kills it.
Yeah, you don't see the baby.
Yeah. So that's what happens.
Yeah, so that was a pretty good run through of the plots.
And definitely, like, it's hard to remember sort of what happened because, like, there's obviously a lot of things that occur. But, like, the most memorable part, as anybody who's seen it knows, is, like, the ending. Because the ending's so, like,
yeah, that's what
shock value. Like, wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
And it was the most talked about, too, is the ending.
Yeah, like, looking up, like, trying to get a synopsis of the movie before this just to, like, refresh my memory.
Because of that yelling, she was just yelling at the camera for, like, a minute. Everyone was like...
Oh, I didn't think so much that part. But when I was looking it up, like, the thing that kept coming up on Google was the ending. What does the ending mean? What happened at the ending? And I'm like, what do you mean? What does it mean? Like, I felt like it made perfect sense.
Pretty much sense, yeah.
Or maybe we're misinterpreting it, though, but...
Unless we just watched enough horror movies to know, like, she had a demon baby and...
yeah. And, like, why are y'all confused?
And not even demon baby, just, like, it was just genetically mutated.
And even if it wasn't, I don't think she wanted it. Like,
no.
She was disgusted and appalled by her treatment, and like she didn't want a baby. She didn't understand.
I think it looked all weird and stuff like the other babies did, because again, it's just genetically modified, and it just. But we'll get to that though.
Yeah, should we?
But like the actors though in this movie, we're gonna run through the actors quick. So we had Sydney Sweeney, which is like the new.
I think
Scream
she
Queen
was
in out.
In Euphoria or something.
Yeah, something like that.
We never watched Euphoria. But
no, but
she's a big actress now.
She played Sister Cecilia. You could read the names. You're way better at names. I'm terrible at names.
I'm gonna butcher this. I want to say Alvaro Morte.
That's pretty good.
But maybe it's Alvaro. Anyway, That was Father Tedeschi or Sal Tedeschi.
Yeah. Okay.
Simona Tabasco, sorry, is Sister Mary. Which Sister Mary was, oh, she looks very young there, but I think she
Yeah.
was one of the older sisters, so
She was
maybe
a
she was
she
in.
was a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, really, I thought all of them were.
Yeah. They're all good actors.
Benedetta Porcioli, Sister Gwen. Giorgio, okay, I don't think I need to read all these, but anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, there's a Sydney Sweeney was the star.
Yeah, and she did really
and
well.
she did a really good. Yeah,
She really sold the whole thing for me. She's a great actress. I would watch her again in whatever she's in.
I did like her acting. Yeah. The priest, not so much. Like, while I liked his acting,
The
I didn't like
father?
his character. Yeah, the father.
Yeah, but that's great.
Yeah.
He did a good job at conveying that. Or so you
Yeah,
didn't like his character in the sense that.
there's some like I don't know, just the way his character was written. There was some dialogue where I was just like, what? Like,
Oh,
what is this
really?
guy talking about?
I do feel like if that were a real person, I feel like he would have had more personality. He was
he was held back.
And
Maybe that was the acting.
I kind of see, like, as a scientist, what is he, a geneticist? That, like,
That's
you know,
true too,
usually they're a
yeah.
bit nerdier, they're a bit more reserved, but
yeah,
he's
I
a
never thought of that.
crazy geneticist.
Yeah, and he's
So
like
usually there's
Catholic
something.
too.
Yeah,
So
so
you
like,
think he'd have more of a drive? He had
Yeah.
no drive like to him.
and maybe
where-
he does internally, but I feel like that would resonate externally as
yeah.
well.
Maybe his religious science side are clashing, and he doesn't know who the hell he is.
Maybe. And obviously they do that for a reason in the movie. Like, they do it because they don't want you to know right away that he's, like, crazy geneticist, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, it doesn't make sense for who he is, who we find out he is.
Exactly. No, I agree. Really quickly too, Immaculate premiered March 12th, 2024, and was released theatrically. So it was premiered at South by Southwest March 12th, and then released theatrically in the United States by Neon on March 20th, 2004. The film received positive reviews and grossed 21 million against a budget of 9 million. So that's
Wow,
pretty good.
they did
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. So it did very good on.
I'm happy for them because I
on
feel
thing,
like
yeah.
it's worth it.
So let's talk about the movie a little bit. One of the questions I had about the movie, which I'm not gonna know because I don't go through it, but when you become pregnant, you lose your teeth, your nails, and all that type of stuff.
You can.
Okay,
Yeah,
never knew that.
I've been looking that stuff up since, you know, we're a unit now.
Oh yeah.
I need to know about those things. And I've gone down the rabbit hole, and
That's
some
crazy.
of the shit you hear about being pregnant is terrifying.
Wow.
Besides dying, you know.
Yeah.
You
I
can
wonder why it's
also
so,
like
crazy.
lose
Jeez.
your teeth, and sometimes your hair can actually get really luscious and long and nicer. Your nails can get nicer.
Yeah.
Or you can have them fall out and stuff. Like, I've heard of
Ugh.
teeth falling out. But I
That's
think they're
crazy.
like rarities, maybe.
Yeah, it must not be
Like, no one I know
It
has
must
ever
not
said
be
that.
like on the norm because.
But I also don't think there's that if that
I
happened
don't know anybody
that they
with
would
that
necessarily
either.
say like, oh no, you're in danger. I think it's just like, you know, maybe you have
Truthfully, I
a
don't.
deficiency or something, or maybe
Yeah,
they'd be like,
that's what I think too. Yeah.
yeah, I don't know, something like that.
That's
but,
crazy.
But yes, that's
I wouldn't
also
even
one
know
of
if
those demonic things,
I wouldn't even
I
know
think.
if like anybody I had, anybody who I know had kids. If I knew if they're
Well,
like they wouldn't tell me
I
the
was gonna
truth
say they
fell
probably
out
wouldn't
or
say.
something, right?
Like,
Yeah.
I probably would because I'd be
Yeah.
like, you'll never.
I would
so I'd
see
be
if
like,
they
how
were
are
missing
you?
their nails and stuff, and their skin started to like.
I feel like someone
go-
would ask me how I am if I was pregnant. I was losing my teeth. I'd be like, I'm terrible. I
Yeah.
lost a tooth. Look. I'd be like, look at this.
That's crazy. I never knew that.
I'd be shouting it.
Learned something from the movie because I was watching it. and I was like, this doesn't happen.
Yeah, but also
It was
remember
falling
how
apart.
in
But
a
it's
lot
like a
of
genetically modified baby.
no,
too.
but remember how in a lot of horror movies, like whenever it's like my thought when I was watching that was because it's a demon baby.
Yeah,
or a demon
sucking
baby.
like the soul and
Yeah,
stuff, right?
like
the energy.
the demon babies always make you vomit like blood and you lose teeth.
Yeah.
And that's like the demonic aspect of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, this baby wasn't necessarily demonic. It was
Yeah.
just
See, I don't. Yeah, let's talk about that quick. So I don't
Okay.
think the baby was demonic. I think
No.
it was just a genetically mutated, like weird looking thing, like all the rest, and she just knew that
I
this
actually
thing wasn't
really
gonna
like that.
survive. You know what I mean?
I like that it was a more real take on it,
Yeah.
even though like they don't do that, so that's not necessarily real. It's not like a true story, but in the sense that like it could happen, like that is a real life
Yeah.
thing that could happen in theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of like the whole possession, whatever, which I was expecting this movie to be, so it, for me,
Yeah.
was different.
It was different like
Yeah.
that, yeah. There was a few things I thought with the movie, like I thought that they could have toned the dialogue a little bit down, and they also had just a lot of parts where there was just a lot of I don't know. There's just a lot of parts where I just didn't think that they needed, and they could have shown a little bit more into his science side. I would have liked that more, a little bit more. Like again, I don't need the full explanation, but a small explanation of like how they're even extracting DNA from a rusted nail,
But that
and
happens, like
they show
like
the
they
lab, but they don't really show
but like just think about
or explain it
have you
in
ever heard
depth.
about how like they take dinosaur fossils or fossils of like how they're doing the whole mammoth thing apparently,
Yeah, yeah,
where
the
they
bringing
take
back the mammoths and all
fossilized
that.
like mosquitoes and they take their blood out and then
Yeah,
there's DNA in that. Doesn't It's not how. It's just like
but I don't.
I'm
But
not a
they're not putting
geneticist,
it.
but
But they're creating that in incubators though. So like to put it inside her and I don't know. I was
I
just
don't
like it's
think
not even semen
yeah,
either.
but
It's
when you're
like
looking at
so are they mixing it
when you're
with?
looking at the incubators, like
Yeah.
those are fetuses. Those aren't what they're putting in her. They didn't put a fetus in
No,
her.
I know, but like they grabbed DNA, which from the nail, which was his blood, not his sperm, and then they used his blood. So whose sperm did like? Do you think they used the father's sperm? I think that it's been the
Probably.
father the whole time.
Yeah.
Again, like these are. It's
I don't
pretty
think
cool to talk about because yeah, we wonder now,
I
and it
guess
makes it mysterious. But
but I don't think you need to know in the movie because it's pretty like it's given
well,
like
my
that's
thought
what's
is how is
happening.
blood turning into a baby, right? Like I'm thinking, how's the DNA of blood? And again, like I understand the whole we're bringing mammoths back to life with their DNA, but this is a lab in at the bottom of a church.
But
Like
you're
this
looking,
wasn't
yeah, but he's a geneticist, so you're looking to know the science behind it. Like you're like,
a little
but
bit
if you want
clarity.
to, for me, I wanted to know the science behind it, I would
Yeah,
fucking Google how are scientists currently doing
yeah.
that? I don't need a movie to go
I
through
guess
the.
I guess the discussion of if he had that discussion, even if it was like 2 minutes, that 2 minutes of that type of discussion, again, not giving away the whole thing, just talking about it just a little bit would have been if you canceled out 2 minutes of other previous parts of the movies that I think just didn't have
I
a
liked
good
all.
flow with it.
I
But yeah,
feel
you liked the
I
movie
liked
really well,
all
yeah.
the other parts. I thought the amount of talking was perfect. If they did less, I'd probably be content. If they did a little more, I'd probably be content. As long as it
Yeah.
was done well, I was content either way. I felt like everything was appropriate for what was happening.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also am a fan of less dialogue and more visuals. So
Yeah, I do like that
I
too, yeah.
do see your opinion on that. Like it's just frustrating how everything now they always have to tell us things. I like just seeing things.
Yeah, that's why
So I
like
see it in that way, but
I
I'm
wouldn't
very
mind. I
content.
don't want them to tell me, but like he didn't talk about it almost at all. And if he did, it was very short
Because I mean, why would he
approach
tell
to
her,
it.
right? Why would he be telling?
I
He's
don't
about to brand
know.
her
Even
and
if
all
he,
this shit.
I
She
don't
just tried to
know.
escape. Why is he gonna be like, so do you want to know the
Even though,
mathematics
and
behind how
you
I did
don't no, and
this?
you don't need
And shows her
dialogue
a
either. It could have
document.
been like a cinematic like walkthrough of the lab a little bit more, showing and getting in depth with camera angles, showing like maybe a thing that says like I don't know
But
something,
why
you
do you
know.
want to see that? Like, what?
Because I
How
think
does
that
that
there's
add?
pieces of the movie that I didn't like and threw me off. So I just thought I would subtract those movies with pieces of adding to the mystery of the movie. That's what I would have done. Just because there was something about the movie that took me out a little bit closer to the middle beginning, and I couldn't get back into the movie. And we watched it like a couple days back, so I'm can't remember what it was, but there's just something that didn't drift well with me with the movie because I'm somebody who did not like the movie that well. You really
Well, I
liked
would
the
need you to
movie.
tell me what part in order for
Yeah,
me
yeah,
to
we'll
understand.
rewatch it, but like I think it was just those types of parts where it's just some dialogue that I thought was just useless, and I wasn't really
If
enjoying it
anything,
that well.
the one part for me that took me out of it, but I was brought back in because of how good the movie was. But the one thing that I did not like about the whole movie was at the near beginning when presumably she was impregnated, when she found that nun with the cover on her and then she went to go to confession to be like, I was snooping when I shouldn't have. And then the father was kind of being pulled back. It was like a weird visual thing, like a dreamlike state.
Yeah,
And then they pulled her back through the wall and like stabbed her when the hooded people were around her.
yeah,
The part where she got pregnant, I'm like, so that part was weird because like the visuals and everything, they didn't make sense with reality. So
yeah.
was she kind of
Hallucinating still.
dreaming it a little bit because she had been drugged or was drunk or whatever? and it did happen, but she was like remembering it incorrectly, and that's what we were seeing. Like that part didn't make sense to me, and I kind of thought it was stupid that they,
Yeah.
maybe not stupid, but the priest reaching back thing, that I was like, what is going on? Are we in a dream? And they never really. She did wake up, so like it's like, okay, maybe it was, but that also did happen because she did get impregnated. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was confused by that. That pulled me out a bit because I was just like, why did that just happen that way?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was kind of weird too. And yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like like there's the movie
But that didn't ruin it for me. It just,
yeah, exactly. Like but something I did like about the movie was it stayed away from like I heard in other things too, like it stayed away from the tropes. Like so
Yeah, I love
you know,
that.
there wasn't any like possession stuff or ghostly stuff or
And there
like,
was like a crow that hit the window at one point, and you
but
always
that's
have the
very
birds hitting the
yeah.
window, but like it was very minimal. It was
And it
very
was a
quick.
good scene. It was a good scene. It got me.
Yeah.
I jumped a bit. Like I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
But it
Usually
stayed
it's
away from that, which
overkill,
was
but
nice. Yeah, it's
yeah.
overkill, right? But it was actually
They
pretty
just
good.
threw like a couple little things in there, but they did their own thing. They really did something different, I thought.
Yeah, yeah. Another cool thing. I don't know. Like I guess I like the direction that they went, with not showing any part of the baby. But
Yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
really
Like
glad they didn't.
I always think
You
that
wanted to see it?
I always think that it would be cool if they don't show it, but they show like an extreme close up of like the eye, but you could tell the eye is not like maybe human. It's more like goat like or something. Or they show the head and there's like this little like horn coming out or something. Like
Yeah,
just
but
where
that
you,
one wasn't a demon one, right? It was
exactly.
just-
So it's like you barely see it, but you do see it, and then maybe it's demonic, but maybe it's genetic. I
But that's
don't
a
know.
part of it. I think for this one, it wasn't demonic at all. Right?
No, it wasn't. It was genetic, yeah.
Him, and she just loathed the whole place at that point
Yeah.
and everyone there. Like the way she beat the shit out of that nun and killed her.
Yeah,
When she was
yeah.
trying to escape, like she didn't just like bash her head in. She just kept going. So
Yeah.
she's pissed.
Yeah, she was.
And she was like,
upset.
I don't care what this thing looks like. I don't care any like.
I'm
you're
pretty
dead.
sure. I'm pretty sure how it goes is that the father was using his semen.
Oh, yeah,
and
and she hates
and
him.
mutating it with the DNA from the. And that's another
Jesus.
thing too. Jesus' nail. Like they could have gone a little bit more in depth with that. Like where the hell did they even get
I thought
this
that was
Jesus?
cool.
They got Jesus' nail and they're like, so we got Jesus' nail here. And,
Yeah,
and we're all
it's a
like,
huge
okay, let's
deal.
talk about this for a little bit because this is huge. And then they're like, touch it, and she touches it, collapses, and then that's it. We don't know anything else about. So like I don't know.
It is
I
wild,
love
but-
mystery. I love Alien. Like I don't want the mystery to be unsolved, but I want them to go a little bit into depth with the mystery. You know what I mean? Just a little bit. All right, sorry guys, camera cut out there quick. But we were just talking about. Well, I was talking about how again I just didn't think that they went into enough depth with some of the really cool ideas that they had in the movie. I think that they could have pushed those interesting scenes just a little bit more. Again, not to unravel the mystery, but to just give us a little bit more hints of how the mystery is a mystery. You know what I mean? Just like, you know, when they've got Jesus' nail, just like maybe this old book or this old picture of I guess where they undug it from or something, like just a little bit. Those red-faced priest nuns didn't know their story at all. And again, I know you like not liking having the mystery at all, but I just thought a little
I
bit
do
would
for
be
some
cool.
things. I just feel like I can put the pieces together very easily with this movie, so I
Yeah.
was totally fine with it.
You're cool with it, yeah. No, I agree with that. I liked how they impregnated her. I forget if we said that
That's
or
a
not.
weird way to say it.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Not like I like the idea of
like
how
that.
they found Jesus's nail and used the DNA on that nail to try and make a
That was
baby.
a cool concept versus
concept.
like demonic
Yes.
possession kind of thing. It was just like a nonsensical, or I guess it was kind of nonsense, but it like made sense. Like it could happen in the world if
Yeah.
Jesus'
no.
blood was found. Like
Yeah.
that's a possible thing that would probably happen.
I forget if we mentioned this before, but I do. I think that the priest used his semen mixed with Jesus's DNA to have all these babies. So all those babies were his kids. I think that's what was going on. The tropes. I don't know again if we said this or not. I like how they didn't have a lot of tropes, so you don't see a lot of demonic possession or ghosts or all those types of things. You just saw that one bird flying in there.
Yeah, usually there's like birds hitting windows every 5 seconds and just all this stuff, but they just put a couple in and did their own thing for the most part otherwise.
Yeah, and then the setting of a movie, we don't know when it was set, so they make it really well done where we don't know. You feel like it's set back in the day, but it's not because the beginning of the movie and during the movie where he whips out a cell phone, it's present time.
Because they're in an old church.
They really
her
bring you back
bed,
there.
The medical gear looks outdated. Like, I'm not a medical professional,
Yeah,
but
it
it
all
looks outdated.
in there. Yeah,
so.
yeah, and what they're like, all their clothes, even the father, and he's like like the suit is old school. It's not like.
I don't remember what he wore.
He looked old school too. Like everything, they did a really good job of making it look like it was in a past time present, even though it was in present time. Oh yeah, I wanted to say that if I could be a nun in this world, in the movie world, I would, because their room was huge.
What's wrong with you?
That is at least $2,200 a month.
I mean, it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
They're
like the whole field was gorgeous.
I'd rather
like
be
I wouldn't go
dead
to that cult
than do
church,
what they're
but
doing.
if they were, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's probably. Well, I don't know. Like
You want to be a woman there?
no, not at that church. Not that
They'll
cult
rape
church.
you.
No, not that cult church. Like if there was just a normal church that had that facility and that bathtub
Yes,
looked
it was
amazing.
gorgeous.
Like, everything about that place looked awesome and I'm pretty sure she was just living there for free. So that's pretty cool.
Well, she's working her whole
being
life.
a nun, yeah. Yeah. Well, okay, yeah, you're right.
Anyway,
yeah,
it was
yeah.
nice looking, yes.
The baby at the end, like how they I don't know, like I again, you really liked how they didn't show anything about the baby at the end. I would have liked maybe if they showed very, very, very close up clips of maybe like a close up eye or a close up like piece on the baby, just to like see a little bit what's going on, even if they made it more mysterious on if it was genetically modified or if it was a demon baby by putting like maybe an eye that looks more goat eye-ish or something like that.
But I think also it would have upset people more to see the baby.
Yeah.
It's already so, like, what's the word?
It makes you hits you in the feels.
It already does that for people, and then to show it before it gets bludgeoned to death, like that's gonna fuck people up. So I can see why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. So.
And I didn't want to see it anyway. Like, ew, nope.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
No, thank you.
But yeah, like the movie itself was decent. You want to give it reviews?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I would rate it a 6.5 out of 10. I just thought that it had a lot of cool ideas that went absolutely nowhere. And again, I'm not asking for the whole mystery to be unraveled, but I wished that they capitalized on these cool ideas more and gave the film. I wish the film had more to do with all these cool ideas rather than some of the conversations that we had that just were like, okay, like whatever. Or like a long or extra long drowning scene when she's being drowned. She would have died. And if she didn't die, she should have had CPR revived on her because like she was underwater for very long. But yeah, I thought the movie was shot well though. Like I did like the camera movements, the camera angles. I liked the location, the scene was nice. The characters' wardrobes were all very well done. They made her look really well as the Virgin Mary when she was in that Virgin Mary gear. I thought that was really cool. So yeah, there were parts of the movie that I liked, and I'm definitely going to give it a rewatch just to give it another shot because I do think that it had a lot going for it. I just was pulled out for some reason about in the beginning middle of the movie and I couldn't get back in, so I didn't feel for the movie that well and I just was kind of getting bored near the end. But yeah, what would you rate the movie though?
I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. The only thing that sucked me out was that one part with the dream scene or whatever it was, where it just seemed kind of nonsensical and I was like, is this actually what happened or was it a dream? Because it seemed more like a dream, but then why?
Yeah.
If it was a dream, then it didn't really happen, so it had some aspect of truth to it. But anyway, it just seemed out of place.
Yeah, a little bit out of place.
But yeah, I liked how everything came together. I liked the mysteries that were there. Like, I felt like they weren't really mysteries in my eyes. Like, it was just, you know, if you think about it a little more deeply or have a conversation about it, you think like, okay, I see why this happened or why that happened, how he made the DNA into, you know, being able to impregnate her with it. Like, even though I'm not a geneticist, like, I can imagine how, you know, a scientist would do that, or I could Google it, you know, figure out how they do that. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really good. I was in it the whole time. And again, as a woman, like, I biggest fear is pregnancy and
Oh yeah, we should bring that
also
up.
being raped and having my
Okay,
body
yeah, that
be
too. Yeah.
used and
Yeah.
being just an object of someone else's desire to do what they want. It's freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
So
As a even like and especially as a girl, that's terrifying. As a guy, that's if somebody was taking advantage of me, I'd be. It's a terrifying thought too.
Yeah.
It's very terrifying. But we should talk about that more because I don't know if the camera cut out about that. But I think that this movie was more women driven for the fan audience. I was listening to a couple of podcasts, and again, sorry if I'm repeating myself. The camera cut out. But I was listening to a couple of podcasts, and these podcasts had a mix of male and female hosts, and it seemed like the males were giving it lower reviews. Maybe like one out of the three males would give it maybe a 7 or 8, but most of them were giving it like a 5, 6. All the female podcasters that I've listened to have given it like an 8 or more. So it seems to be more fan favorited by the female
demographic.
based demographic. Yeah. So that I just thought that was a cool, interesting thing that I
yeah.
was seeing through all these podcasts. Because I listened to podcasts about the movies review just to get more information. She's the total opposite. Likes to go into this clean
Blind.
slate, which is amazing.
I don't want anyone to make me biased. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole movie is based around women
Yeah.
and a woman's experience in that world in particular, but I think it's relatable to every woman. So yeah, it's hard not to put yourself in their shoes from the very start to the very end. Like, the
Yeah.
whole thing, I was like, you go, girl.
Yeah, exactly. So like as a guy, I think like you're going in there if it's a good horror movie or if it's not a
Yeah.
good horror movie. But I think women really went in there and enjoyed the movie.
It felt like it was really a horror
yeah.
movie.
Yeah. But I'd be interested to see the statistics on that if they could ever do that. Is just to 100 guys rate this movie, 100 girls rate this movie, and see. I bet you like 80% of women would say they really liked the movie, while like 40 or 50% of guys would be like, that was a good
And
movie.
honestly, I don't think I would relate as hard if I were like 16 years old, or at least knowing how I was back then, but knowing now at my stage in life, like, you know, because we're together and
Yeah.
everything, and pregnancy is a possibility, it's
Yeah.
like, it's like, that's terrifying, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So other reviews that others given the movie were so Metacritic gave it a 57%, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 60%, and IMDb gave it a 6.3 out of 10. And audience rating, we're looking at a 3.0 out of 618 reviews. So it's mid. It's a mid movie. I think like all the reviews in total make it pretty much 60 to 65% good. But again, I'm gonna watch the movie again. I think again, women really tended to gravitate to this movie. I think the horror genre has more men, which is why the score might have been a little bit.
I think it's
lower.
more, it's like if you think about a typical horror movie, it's like ghosts, or it's slashers, or
Yes,
it's
exactly.
jump scares. It's things that everybody can go, scary, but like with something like this, I think you have to really put yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yeah.
And you also, I think a lot of negative reviews might also be thinking about, because it is a polarizing movie, it's like, first of all, it's a extremist religious sort of cult, which already gets people riled up, or initially going into it thinking like, oh, I don't like that, like not to say I'm not gonna like the movie, but I don't like these people, so you're already kind of got like a negative bias. And then also at the end, you have the death of a baby, a newborn baby of all things.
Yeah.
And that is even more polarizing, I think. Like, it's like people don't like these things, so I think it's inherently just that kind of movie. The nature of the script and how the movie is going to make people less likely to like it. So
Yeah.
I think it's fair that people rated it what they rated it, but I think the movie deserves more credit considering it's not about what happened necessarily. It is about what happened in the movie, but it's more about the storytelling of how those awful things are happening
Yeah.
that you should be rating, not that everybody is, but anyway, that's just
Yeah.
that's what I think. I think people see what's happening and they disagree with it, and so
Yeah.
maybe they're like, or they can't relate to the woman, so they're like, eh.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And the woman, the movie really gave me, it felt like a cross between Midsummer and The Witch. I feel like that's that feeling I had while watching this movie, and I enjoyed both of those movies. But I had that same, I don't know, I just felt like it was like the same writer, same director, and same
Yeah, I can see
cinematographer
that.
made this movie. So, but yeah, that's our review on Immaculate. Thought it was okay. She thought it was amazing. I'm gonna rewatch it and let you guys know if I liked it more or less or the same on our next video.
I don't really want to rewatch it. I really liked it, but like it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's emotionally draining.
I was saying too, like, it's a good movie to put on in the background. I think, like, I love putting on Halloween movies in the background for some odd reason. Even
There's
though this is
just-
not really a Halloween movie, it's a horror, but I like putting horrors in the background.
Doing work while there's like screaming going
Yeah.
on in the background.
But it would be a good one just to throw in the background for sure. Maybe the screaming in it is a little much at the end, but the movie throughout is pretty good background movie. And one movie we're looking forward to before we end off this podcast / video.
I don't even know what's coming out, so
Yep.
I'm just excited for whatever we watch next.
Yep.
I don't know.
Next time you gotta search it up and find out.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm excited for Deadpool Wolverine. I think the MCU has a chance of coming back. Bob Iger's back in town, and he said, less quantity, more quality, which is where it should have always been. We've had too much movies and TV shows being thrown at us in every direction. That's gotta stop, and because it's all garbage too. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. Break the fourth wall. Hopefully, brings in some new elements for the MCU, and the MCU can revive a bit because I think it's just been on a downhill since Endgame. And yeah, that's our podcast. That's our video. That's our review on Immaculate. So let us know what you guys thought of Immaculate. Let us know your rating. Let us know what you guys think of the Fallout series, if you guys have watched it, if you guys are enjoying it. Let us know about Sam Raimi, what you guys think of him directing the new Spider-Man movie. And also let us know about 28 Years Later, and if you guys are a fan of that franchise and excited to see this new movie coming out. And yeah, we're going to wrap this up. See you guys next week. Peace.